in these motherfucker, cause the devil gonna make you pay. Motherfucker is on his way.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the PennyBlack Tattoo Knowledge Base. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges inherent in script tattooing. So script tattoos are always a challenge because there are so many things that can and will go wrong. We consider them to be amongst the most regrettable styles of tattoos you can ever hope to try to get, mostly because of how they age, and they do not age well. In order to get across the challenges with a script tattoo, the first thing you need to do is try to understand what a tattoo in your skin is actually doing. So when you put a tattoo in your skin, the first thing your body starts to do with it is eat it. Fragment by fragment, your body is pulling the pigment of the tattoo ink into the bloodstream, into the lymphatic system, and washing it away. This is why tattoos fade over time. This is also why black is going to be your best bet, and you always want a lot of it in any tattoo you get, because black takes the longest to fade away the most. If you have a yellow tattoo and take 60% of it away, it's going to be virtually invisible in your skin. 60% of your black tattoo removed is still basically a blue-black. Black is always good. However, when it comes to a tattoo staying crisp and precise in the skin, that tendency of the ink to be eaten by your system is a lot of why tattoos get blurry over time. So, a lot of tight detail in a small area getting blurry means it's not going to be very legible. Now, look at another aspect of this. When you're inventing a written language, the first thing you're going to try to do is maximize the amount of information that you can possibly fit in as small an area as possible, which is great for paper, not so great for skin. So think about it. You've invented a written language. It doesn't matter if it's English or if it's Farsi or what have you. Any written language is all going to be very fine, tight details close together. Now, again, great for paper, but as soon as you put it on skin and that skin starts to eat the ink and the ink starts to blur out and blur into itself, you no longer have a legible tattoo. This means lots of tattoo regret. Everybody wants to get their tiny little cute script pieces thinking it's going to age perfectly like a piece of paper would, but it doesn't. So really think long and hard before trying to get a tiny, tiny little tattoo that is not going to be legible over any great degree of time. Now, having said that, there are a lot of very small script tattoos that have a great deal of meaning, and that meaning is more important than what the tattoo looks like over years. In that case, go ahead and do it anyway. Go into it with your eyes wide open that eventually it's going to blur into itself. But who cares? Ultimately, the meaning is what matters most. Other things to consider with script tattoos is that they don't generally conform to the shape of the body. They don't complement the shape of the body very well. They tend to be very straight, very blocky sort of characters that don't form nicely to ribs or anything like that. So they consistently fight the body. They fight the form and shape of the human skin. And again, don't generally look anywhere near as good as people think they're going to look. There are some artists out there that specialize in script tattooing, and they do amazing work with it. They're typographers as much as they are artists, and I envy their abilities. But one thing you will find when you look at the tattooing that they do, it is usually quite large, it is usually heavily stylized, and so much so that it's not even really script anymore. It's art of its own. A good example would be the Chicano style tattooing that was made popular in the East LA prison system in the 80s. That script looks amazing, but it's also quite large, therefore not prone to the ravages of blurring into itself like tiny little script tattoos that are so popular. So if you do want to get a script tattoo, that's something to put in your head. Make it as big as you possibly can to future-proof it so that it will continue to look okay over many, many years. So another trend that we've noticed recently is color tattooing for script, which is even more complicated. Now remember everything that I said about the tendency of your body to eat ink. Well, it's bad enough when it's eating black ink and turning it into a bluish green. Now take a red piece of script and it blurs out and fades away, and you've got an even less legible piece. Again, you have this incredible potential for regret in this tiny little tattoo. Once again, you have to think long and hard about whether you actually really want that or not. One of the biggest things that will frustrate you with getting a script tattoo is you get your tiny little live, laugh, love, or whatever it is you want to get, and you're super stoked with it, but then you're starting to get the real itch for serious tattooing. Now you want a half sleeve, but you go to your artist and you say, oh, I've got this live, laugh, love tattoo. Is there any way you can work around it? Can you incorporate it in? I can tell you right now, as a tattoo artist, that's the last thing we ever want to have to hear. We do not want to have to struggle with just incorporating it. We also hear a lot, well, you're the artist. That's true, but that does not mean we went to Hogwarts. We're not wizards. So just incorporating a piece of script is never as easy as it sounds. It's never as easy as you think it is. In fact, it's nearly impossible for us. Script in the skin automatically cock blocks you consistently for anything bigger and more elegant that you want. It will always stick out like a turd in a punch bowl no matter what you do. So again, think long and hard about that script tattoo, because it will frustrate you down the road when you want something bigger, more expressive, and more beautifully artistic. So there's all kinds of complications and concerns and challenges and frustrations with script tattooing, and the overall tone of this video is don't do it, but I have to stress that in the end it's your decision. If you want a script tattoo, get a script tattoo. Go into it with your eyes wide open though. Go into it understanding that it is going to blur into itself. It is going to be virtually impossible to understand what it says over any degree of time, and if you're okay with that, do it anyways. All that I really want is to make sure that you, the viewer, are never left going, well, gee, I didn't know. Now that you do know, decide for yourself if you're gonna do it. And if you're gonna do it, awesome, have fun with it.